Chevrolet. By Budweiser, Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By New York Life, to help you get the most out of life. And by GE, we bring good things to life, from aircraft engines to appliances to plastics to financial services. Be with us tomorrow night. ABC's Monday Night Football features the Washington Redskins and the Dallas Cowboys at 9 Eastern Time. And we'll resume action in the World Series in St. Louis on Tuesday, Game 3. The scheduled pitchers, Les Straker and John Tudor, the Twins and the Cardinals, and it begins at 8 Eastern Time. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.
A promotional fee has been paid to ABC by United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
When you know how to read, life can be a whole lot richer.
1 week from tonight.
I want you very much, Susan, and I'm going to have you...
Stop it!
Susan's the target.
Talk to Susan. Susan.
On Spencer for Hire. Then, Al Pacino's unforgettable performance.
Say hello to my little friend!
Michelle Pfeiffer, Al Pacino, Scarface. Parental discretion advised. After Spencer for Hire in 1 week.
Scarface. And coming up on the Eyewitness News Update, we celebrate the Minnesota Twins, the winning Twins, after game number 2 of the World Series. I'm Stan Turner, along with Ruth Spencer.
And stand by for live interviews with tonight's star players, plus highlights from this exciting game at the Dome.
I'm Angela Storr, along with Mark Sapelsa. Also ahead on the update, we'll tell you what doctors are saying about Nancy Reagan's condition the day after an operation to remove a cancerous tumor.
And if you've heard just about all you can stand about the Twins, don't miss our look at what the non-Twins fan does on a night like tonight. Join us next for those stories and more, all coming up next on the Eyewitness News Update.
Ted Varick. He likes the speed. He likes the danger.
I only steal Porsches.
Charlie Sheen.
Good turn, Bill.
D.B. Sweeney.
I'm gonna partner you with the best gang I got. You're the expert.
Ted, he's a cop.
Tell me something I don't know.
Crossing the line into no man's land.
Showtime, folks.
No Man's Land. Rated R.
Starts Friday at a theater near you. Check your newspaper.
Reminder to America, it's not just men who farm our land, but also more than 1 million farm women who work as their partners to make America's food system one of the most productive on earth. That's something we shouldn't take for granted. Brought to you on behalf of America's farmers by the makers of Dual Herbicide.
To the thousands of companies who make it their business to compete, we make it our business to provide communication services that give them a competitive advantage. We are U.S. West and Northwestern Bell. Nobody knows the trails better.
91 Bravo, proceeding on rescue training mission.
1 weekend a month, you can take off for the beach, the mountains, or a drive in the country in the Army Reserve.
Subject spotted.
Be all that you can be.
It's no picnic, but it's the kind of excitement no other weekend offers.
Mission completed. We're heading home.
And you'll still have 3 weekends a month to take off on your own.
Find your future in the Army Reserve.
This is your World Series station, 5. Live from Minnesota's news channel, KSTP Channel 5. Stan Turner, Ruth Spencer, Dave Dahl, and Mark Curtis bring you the Eyewitness News Update.
Minnesota Twins fans are leaving the Dome tonight after another big victory over the Cardinals. The Twins are 2-up over the Cards and on their way to St. Louis now to pull the winning edge over those Redbirds in the World Series 1987. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight as we celebrate our Twins here at the Metrodome.
Whoopee! It's been another night, big night to remember. All the Twins seem to be getting in on the act. Everybody wants in on the action. Get set, because hang on to your seats. We have lots more exciting things for you tonight. Coming up, we'll go live outside the Dome, where we'll hear about the fans who are here but never get to see the game in person. And what a wild night it's been for the pizza business in town. We'll check in at a local pizzeria where they're making pizzas like hotcakes. And if you've experienced the noise of fans cheering in the Dome in person, you won't want to miss our look at whether it's healthy to get hoarse. Wave your arms all about and be in the midst of all this hoopla. Wow.
But first things first, let's go down on the field now live to Mark Curtis, who has highlights of this blockbuster game. Mark?
I'll tell you what, this reminds me a lot of the LCS. They're 2-0 now, heading to the other city. The big play, the play that really broke it open, I think, was in the bottom of the fourth. One out, bases loaded. Randy Bush, the DH, sends a shot to right to score Herbeck and Puckett. The first 2 runs of what turned out to be a 6-run fourth. Twins were on their way, and it finished 8-4. Right now, Mike Smithson is standing by with another guy who had a great night, Timmy Laudner.
Tim, great game tonight. Can you tell us what's going on in the first 2 games? Frank and Bert tonight pitched great games. Can you tell us what they were doing?
Well, we want to go out and make sure that our guys pitch their game. I'm not worried so much about St. Louis, the way their guys hit, or they're worried about their speed. We want to make sure that Frankie went in there with a good fastball, good changeup. And tonight we want to make sure that Bert went out there with good fastball, good curveball, and they established it early and went with it.
I think the control has been a big key. They've kept the walks to a minimum, and that's one of the big reasons why the St. Louis Cardinals have been out of the running game.
They have. They've been around the plate throwing strikes, and you can't ask for any more than that.
Tim, I've really been impressed with your hitting. Early in the year, it looked like you're trying to pull a ball tonight. Last night, a big clutch hit. Tonight, you took the ball to right field, and you took the ball over the center field fence. What kind of pitch did you hit?
Hit a fastball for the home run, and hit a fastball in the hole for the other base hit that hit, with a couple of RBIs. And I want to go up there and try to see the ball and put the bat on it. I don't want to try and do too much. Feel a little bit more relaxed at the plate. I'm not really worried about what I did during the season. This is a whole new season right here. Everybody's contributing, and hitting's contagious, and you know what happens when hitting's contagious.
Tim, thanks a lot. A great game. I know you want to get in the clubhouse, have a beer. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay, we're going to get to another star of the game in just a second, but right now let's throw it upstairs to Rob Lear, who's standing by with another player.
Outside the Twins clubhouse, Mark, we're standing with Tom Bernansky. And Tom, you guys are halfway home to a world championship.
Well, I'll tell you what, we keep saying it over and over again. It's just a one game at a time philosophy, and we're just going to go enjoy the day off tomorrow, level out a little bit and go into St. Louis. It's going to be a new experience for a lot of us. We've never played in that stadium, and we're just going to come out and have to play as hard as we have the last 2 days.
Offensively, the bats are just red hot. I mean, everybody is contributing. Everybody seems to be hitting the ball in places that the Cardinals are not.
Well, I'll tell you, we faced 2 tough pitchers, and both starters are coming out, and we've just been hitting the ball solid 1 through 9. And when you get that kind of offensive firepower, we're going to score a lot of runs like we have the last 2 days.
Congratulations again on your efforts.
All right, thanks, Rob.
Let's go down to Mark.
All right, thanks very much. What I want to know is, what is it about that 4th inning?
Well, the only thing I could say is we're facing some pitchers we've never seen before, and this is a very confident offensive ball club.
Here's your base hit.
Okay, well, we go out the first 2 or 3 innings, and the guy shuts us down both nights. We come out in the second time around. We said we're going to get these guys a second time around because now we've seen what they got, and that's just a good, confident ball club that thinks that way, and it worked out for us.
Okay, now, Randy Bush, tell me about this slide coming up.
Well, I knew the ball was going to beat me there. I could tell he was setting up to catch it, and I just said, I'm going back door. There's no way I'm going into this guy because I'm a dead duck, and I just hope he leaves the back door open, and I snuck in there.
This has got to feel so good because I know that you and Timmy Laudner are best buddies. You said roommate when it came up.
Yeah, we've been roommates. We've been roommates in the big leagues for 5 years now, and I couldn't be any happier for the night Tim had, and I'm sure he feels the same way. As we've talked about this for 5 years. We've talked about playing in the World Series, and now it's happening, and these fans are outstanding. It's absolutely electric out there on the field, and it's just unbelievable.
Different situation, but you guys head to the next city now, up 2-0, just like with the Tigers.
Exactly the situation we wanted to be in. Let's face it, the pressure's on them now. They've got to win a game right off the bat there, and they're going to be up for it. I mean, let's face it, these guys have been in the World Series every other year. You're not in the World Series unless you play the Cardinals, for crying out loud. So, they're going to be ready, and we're going to be ready, and we're going to go out and go after them.
Randy, thanks so much for joining us. Let's go back upstairs outside the Twins clubhouse where Rob Lear is standing by.
And Mark, no one's smiling any bigger than Calvin Griffith. The Twins up 2-0 in this World Series. It's got to be a gratifying thought for you.
Well, I tell you, Ron, it is just a great feeling. Is right. It seems coming back to 1965, we won our first 2 games here, but this ball club hadn't played in the Cardinal ballpark, so I'm sure we go there and we'll win some ball games in St. Louis.
To share in this success, this has got to be special feeling for yourself.
It is special because most of the boys came through our farm system, and what we put on the field, they're coming now to be champions, like I said they would be 3 or 4 years ago.
And nobody given this franchise much of a chance. Always the underdog. Is this a chance to prove some of those experts across the country wrong?
That's right. You know, those experts can be criticized too for thinking wrong, and this ball club here is going to fool the whole world because we're the underdogs, and now we're going to be the kings.
4 games, is that all this series is going to take?
Well, let's hope we go 5.
All right. Calvin Griffith, thank you. Congratulations. Mark Curtis.
Very much, Rob Lear. Mike Smithson. You don't want to look a great situation in the mouth, as they say, but 2 games to nothing going back. These 2 games have been relatively easy. I think much easier than anyone expected. Is there a danger in that?
Well, without a doubt, there could be a little danger, but I don't think this Twins ball club is going to let that happen. I think in their mind, they're still the underdog in this series, and they did exactly what they had to do again tonight. I hate to be redundant, but they took the Cardinals right out of their offense by scoring runs early. And when they can't run, that's a big part of their offense, and they went right out and did what they had to do again tonight.
All right, you know Tom Kelly very, very well. What's he going to say to those guys in the clubhouse tonight?
Well, he's not going to let them get too high. We got to go to St. Louis. It's going to be an entirely different atmosphere. We're going to go in and we're going to see a sea red when we go into St. Louis. So the guys know what's going to happen. I think the big stride for us was getting past the Detroit series. Now, we're playing so confident now. You could just see it in the guys' faces tonight. They came out tonight, and like Bushy said, first time around, they were just getting a look at the guy. Then when they come up the second time, they really put the offense on him.
All right, Smitty, stand by just a second. Let's go back upstairs now outside the Twins clubhouse once again. Rob Lear and Kirby Puckett.
Mark, the Twins, again, they continue to put up runs on the board, and Kirby Puckett has been in the middle of this. And what's this feeling been like for yourself?
Well, it's been great, Rob. I can't really explain it, but the team is pitching. Got great starting pitching again from Burke today, and Juan came in and did his best, did a good job, and then we had Reardon to come in and close everything up for us. But it's been that way all year, and it's been a different guy every day and all year long, and that's the way we played it today.
You had the big throw in the 7th and the inning there to kind of take the Cards out of it when it looked like perhaps they were going to be mounting a charge. It's those defensive plays that have been the sharp points of this club all season as well.
Well, Rob, in that situation, they had the guy forward on second base for 2 outs, and I knew I wasn't going to throw him out regardless of the hit. And on that type of ball that was hit to me, it's kind of like a blooper-like. And when I fielded it, I was trying to get to it as fast as I could, and I saw Kendall around in second going to third. I said, well, I got a chance of him at third, and I threw it to third, and was fortunate to throw right to Rat.
It's one thing to be in a World Series and to play in one. Another thing when you figure and find that you're just 2 victories shy of a world championship. Is all this sinking in?
Well, it's sinking in, but it's not over yet, Rob. Anything can happen, and people know that, and we're just going to take it 1 game at a time like we've been doing all year and just see what happens.
This crowd, again, has certainly been rising to the occasion.
Well, the crowd's been great. They've been there for us all year, man, and nothing's changed. They've been behind us all the way, and I just hope we can bring them a championship.
All right, Kirby, thank you for joining us.
Right.
Mark Curtis, let's go down to the field.
All right, thanks again, Rob. And Mike Smith and Kirby makes a good point. They put 8 runs up on the board. They put 10 runs up on the board. People have overlooked the fact that this Twins team can play defense.
Well, they've been the best defensive team in the American League all year. I think most of the opposing managers will tell you that. When you can catch a ball and you put the ball in play, as the pitcher's been doing in this series, good things are going to happen. And like I said, I can't express enough how much the runs early mean when you take the Cardinals out of their offense like that. And this was a big win tonight. I know personally because it's going to take a little pressure off Les. If we'd have split this series and went 1-1, then there's going to be a lot of pressure on the young guy to go out there Tuesday night and pitch a good game. Now he can just go out and be nice and relaxed. And I think you're going to see a good performance from him. He's got the jitters out of the way in the Detroit series. I think he's going to do a good job Tuesday night.
All right, Mike, stand by with us. We'll be coming back down here. A little more analysis as Game 3 approaches. But right now, let's go back upstairs to Stan and Ruth.
Hey, Mark, you know that fourth inning you were talking about? I've got an edit on the Star Wars script. How about may the fourth be with you?
The fourth be with you.
That's our new Twin slogan.
I think Whitey Herzog's going to petition the league to go directly from the third to the fifth innings from now on. To heck with the fourth, huh?
Said you will.
Once again, the pandemonium from this stadium is spilling out into the streets of downtown Minneapolis. And if you've never seen pandemonium spill before, you haven't seen anything. Mike Binkley is out there among them right now. Mike?
Well, I tell you what, Stan and Ruth, you wonder how they have any voices left after 2 straight games of absolutely screaming, but just listen to this. It's absolutely wild once again on the streets of downtown Minneapolis. This has been going on ever since the game ended, about 15, 20 minutes now. They've been yelling, sweep, sweep, sweep. They've been honking their horns at the cars on the street. They've been waving hankies. They've been giving high fives out here to complete strangers. I remember New Year's Eves like this that weren't quite this loud or quite this boisterous. It's really something else. Tell you what, but long before this madness started, at the start of the game tonight, we discovered something else out here, that people were coming out here even if they didn't have tickets and didn't expect to get any. The happy people with tickets were dancing all around them, and it didn't matter to people like these sisters-in-law from Bloomington. They were just happy to be here, period.
We didn't have tickets, knew there wasn't a chance to get them, so we came out just to see what's going on around the dome.
It's been really interesting. We've seen a lot of interesting people.
People like Brian Schultz of Minneapolis, who didn't have tickets either. But here he was on his 26th birthday, walking around in his Twins uniform in a special birthday present to himself.
Just to get in with the guys from with the fans. It's great.
It seemed great to these 5 students from New Richmond, Wisconsin, too, who propped up some lawn chairs outside the gate and watched the game on TV. From here, you can kind of hear the crowd and kind of hear the organ, and it's almost like being there.
And years from now, we can tell our kids that we went to the World Series.
But you aren't actually inside.
But we're outside, and that's close enough. That's as close as we can get.
Our spirits keep us warm.
After a while, police moved them for their own safety across the street, which is a good idea, as you can tell, again, by the noise of this crowd. They're still spilling out of the Metrodome, still as boisterous as ever. Let's go back to you, Stan and Ruth.
Yep, they get the good vibes right through the walls.
Yeah.
Right, thanks, Mike.
Sweet. Thank you, Mike. You know, even if you couldn't get a ticket to see the game tonight, fans did the next best thing. They watched the game on TV. The bars, the restaurants, even the shopping malls had the television sets all tuned to ABC Sports for this Twins-Cardinal matchup.
And all that intense watching and excitement and tension has worked up tremendous appetites around these parts. People are hungry, and Pat Milan is live right now at one restaurant where they have been trying heroically to keep their supply up with the demand. Pat?
Well, Stan, you're looking at the poor folks who've had to work on a night when everyone else is celebrating. Baseball in the Twin Cities apparently goes very well with pizza, because we can tell you here that at Devani's on Riverside, they are doing record-breaking business tonight. As a matter of fact, as you might have guessed, most of the pizzas are delivered because no one wanted to stray far from the television set during the game. And Kevin McGraw says it's been a fun night delivering pizza, but he admits the game has led to some confusion.
Especially when something good happens, I go down the wrong street and lose directions on the house. But most people understand. They said to me, it's too bad you have to work on a World Series night, and they usually reach for another dollar bill.
Now we can tell you that they had that fast wave as the game was going, and now here comes the second crush. The fans from the Metrodome are coming right down and heading into Devani, so they're getting ready to start it all over again. Stan and Ruth?
Pat, I'm glad to see you survived this report better than last night's. Pat took a beer bottle to the head last night. This time the worst it could have been with a pepperoni stick.
Try to stay in a safer location.
We will, yes, thanks, Pat. We will be back here in just a moment with a message from one Twins fan to another.
Plus, we are going to have the rest of the day's non-Twins news. And in this Sunday's Vital Signs, Dr. Michael Breen tells us if it's healthy to be a Twins fan inside the dome. Stay tuned.
Today's ideas, today's money-saving prices. That's Snyder's, your old corner drugstore.
Save $1.50 on the 4-pack of GE Soft White Light Bulbs with instant rebate just $1.99. Tuffy's trash bags are specially priced. After rebate, get 2 for $4. You save $5.98. Save 25% on any Neutrogena item in stock. Choose from Snyder's large assortment.
Snyder's, the old corner drugstore for today. You hear the thunder, the call of the road.
Get on a new 88 at your Greater Metropolitan Pontiac dealers. Grand Am, Pontiac's hottest and one of America's best-selling cars. Le Mans, amazing value with prices starting at just $59.95. See all the new 88 Pontiacs now at your Greater Metropolitan Pontiac dealers. They will move you.
Do men make passes at women who wear glasses? You bet they do. If the women know where to shop. Dueling Optical. Their style and selection. Designer frames to contact lenses. Professional consultants who care. And affordability.
With eyeglass purchase, receive a free pair of eyeglasses or daily wear contact lenses.
So remember, buy your eyewear at Dueling and never, no, never answer the phone on the first ring.
Budget Power, the home improvement expert, brings you store-wide savings during the Sale-a-thon sale. From space-saving mini units to deluxe contemporary designs, Sidamar has a pedestal lab styled for you. All Reliance energy-efficient water heaters with exclusive Stay Clean features are on sale. Save on Max Bond, a premium quality panel foam and construction adhesive. Step up to Hyde, the leader in drywall tools, the hardest working, longest lasting tool in its field. Shop the Sale-a-thon sale at Budget Power, the home improvement expert.
A look again live at the streets outside the Metrodome as 55,000 plus fans head home, and they head home happy. Ruth?
And happiest of all, that Twins team that put so much magic in the air here tonight.
Lots more magic to come, I think. The truly desperate Minnesota Twins fans were posted. They had situated themselves out here earlier today in a frantic search for tickets for game number 2 tonight. Now, many carried signs letting it be known to all they were in serious need of tickets. Some paid as much as $350 to get into today's game. Others, not willing to pay as much, wandered around the stadium in hopes of getting, well, the right price.
They're going for $250 also.
How much are you willing to pay at this point?
Just $75 a piece and no more.
Because you need 3.
Because I need 3. I have a family here.
Issue a handful of citations to a number of people who were caught in the act of scalping. Last night, they cited about 5 scalpers who, again, were caught in the act.
You know, there is hardly a person in Minnesota who has not come down with a case of Twins fever, but that's only one of the medical conditions that can actually strike a Twins fan. In tonight's Vital Signs, Dr. Michael Breen reports those conditions are real. However, they are less of a threat than the St. Louis Cardinals.
You can spend 3 hours sitting near the speakers at a rock concert, or you can spend 3 hours at a World Series game at the Metrodome. The noise levels at both are about the same, and to prove it, we brought a decibel meter to measure just how loud the fans got at last night's game. The meter peaked at about 108 decibels. Now, don't worry. 108 decibels won't cause long-term hearing problems. What can it cause?
Some people are going to feel like you have cotton in your ears. You go home and, you know, your ears just don't feel clear. Other people are going to have ringing in their ears.
That ringing almost always goes away with time, but be prepared. The ringing may not start until several days after you leave the game.
And then there's another result of all that noise. What I call Metrodome laryngitis.
Laryngitis!
How's your voice right now?
It's awesome. It's hurting. Flat and it's awesome.
After a game, the size of your swollen vocal cords is also awesome. Most people will gargle for their hoarseness and laryngitis, but don't expect gargling to help.
Basically, it's an inflammation that's in the vocal cords. And when you gargle, that fluid really doesn't get down that far.
The only cure? A few days of talking as little and as softly as possible. Rest and a mild pain reliever is also the cure for what I call Homer Hanky wrist and Homer Hanky elbow. In fact, no matter what your problem, if you're a Twins fan, your prognosis is excellent. For the Eyewitness News Update, I'm Dr. Michael Breen.
And Vicki Little of Robbinsdale called us earlier tonight to give us a report on her husband, Johnny. Now, Johnny had tickets to these World Series games, but Johnny had a heart attack the other night. He's resting comfortably in the hospital this evening. And Johnny, if you're watching, we have a couple of messages to pass along to you. First of all, your wife wants you to know she loves you very much, says you are doing fine, and boy, so are your twins, aren't they?
Yeah. Right now, let's go back to the KSTP studios where Angela Astor and Mark Sapelza have the rest of the day's news. Mark and Angela?
Thank you, Stan and Ruth. Now tonight's other news, good news for First Lady Nancy Reagan.
Doctors today confirmed that the First Lady's breast cancer
had not spread. They went on to predict complete recovery following yesterday's removal of Mrs. Reagan's left breast. Meanwhile, the president asked his staff to keep his schedule light so he can visit his wife. He did so this morning with a gift.
I got a date with a girl out of Bethesda.
Mrs. Reagan is reported up and about and recovering remarkably well. Meanwhile, the vice president and Mrs. Bush made a detour from the campaign trail to visit the toddler rescued from a well in Midland, Texas. The Bushes visited 18-month-old Jessica McClure in her hospital room. Doctors say color is returning to Jessica's toes on her right foot. That could mean amputation would not be necessary.
A source says President Reagan called congressional leaders to the White House tonight, hours after he said he made a decision on how to respond to Iran's missile attack against an American-flagged tanker. In the meantime, Newsweek is saying Mr. Reagan instructed his national security aides that any military strike against Iran should be modeled on our raid against Libya. Leading our news from around the world, as tensions increase in the Persian Gulf, 4 U.S. Navy warships are reportedly headed to the region. Meanwhile, the supertanker that struck a mine during the first U.S. escort of reflagged tankers is back on duty. In Israel, Secretary of State George Shultz indirectly chided Prime Minister Shamir to take some risks in a search for peace. The plane that West German teenager Matthias Roos flew into Red Square left the Soviet Union today. The plane will be flown to Munich to be on display in the middle of the city. Roos is serving 4 years in a labor camp. West German authorities have appealed for his release. In the skies over Irvine, California today, 2 planes nearly collided. Authorities report an American Airlines jet was climbing directly into the path of a private plane. An air traffic controller steered the pilots clear of disaster.
The Chisago County Sheriff's Office says one of its deputies was shot tonight in the line of duty. There are few details available, but a dispatcher for the Sheriff's Office says the officer is alive and they're searching for a suspect. The deputy sheriff was shot late tonight near Rush City in Chisago County. In a move the American Medical Association thinks is a first, Methodist Hospital has paid $2.5 million to Park Nicollet Medical Center to refer patients to the hospital. This tonight from the Star Tribune. The newspaper quotes experts like Professor Doug Wallace of the College of St. Catherine as saying the deal raises ethical questions. The president of the Methodist Hospital says referrals are needed due to shrinking patient numbers.
A St. Paul man is expected to be charged tomorrow in the death of a Lakeland woman who'd been the subject of a widespread search. The body of Diane Larson was found last week in Burnett County, Wisconsin. A bullet wound to the head was discovered. Autopsy results are also expected tomorrow. Tonight, the Guardian Angels are on the lookout for ways to stop crime. Earlier, they held a get-together to commemorate their first year on the job in Minneapolis. They also inducted another class to their ranks. The Angels say they're looking into creating a St. Paul chapter. We're going to go back to the Metrodome right now where Joe Schmidt is standing by with Bert Blyleven.
Tonight's winning pitcher.
Right, and what a game he did pitch. Bert Blyleven pitched 7 dandy innings, but stands with us live right now. Bert, the World Series, and you put out your World Series best today.
Well, thank you very much. You know, I give a lot of credit to my defense, and the offense scored the runs I needed.
Smitty, you're here. I know you got a question for your fellow pitcher.
Bert, it seemed like early in the game that they were looking for your curveball, and you were able to slip some nice fastballs by him. What do you think about that?
Well, I think they were. You know, you get so many scouting reports, and I know that they did the same thing. You know, they watched me probably pitch the last couple times out, and they see how I throw, and I think sometimes they were, especially Coleman, say to start off the game. I think he was looking for the breaking ball when I ended up striking him out, and it surprised him. And then from there on, things got good for me.
How important is this game as far as Les Straker's concerned? It seems like this game's going to take a little pressure off of him, us going down there two games to 0.
I think it takes some pressure off him, but Les has to go out there and just pitch his ball game. You know, even if the series is 1-1, Les still has to go out there and pitch. And as long as we can get 6, 7, 8 good innings out of Les, you know, hopefully he'll pitch a shutout.
Bert, what about it? Were you extremely pumped up for the series here, more so than maybe the playoffs?
Well, if you can't get pumped up for a World Series, you can't get pumped up for anything. I just tried to go as hard as I could, as long as I could, and you know, Juan Berenguer hadn't pitched in 4 or 5 days, and Jeff Reardon too, so I'm happy that they got an inning in.
All right, congratulations, Bert Blyleven, the winning pitcher. Bert now 6-0 in playoff and World Series competition. Let's now go back to the studio with Angela and Mark.
You got that right. Dave Dow's standing by as well with 5's first forecast for your work week. And it's that time of year to wonder what's on your pumpkin, besides Twins and cards, that is.
And what are those folks who don't care for baseball doing these days?
heartbeat. Thunder is the heartbeat.
88 S10 4x4. The all-new 88 full-size 4x4. There, Chevy Thunder. Priced right. Built tight. Fog lights, light bar. Grill guard. Special striping. 4x4 Thunder from $199 a month. Only at your Twin Cities area Chevy team.
Come on and feel the heartbeat. Thunder is the heartbeat.
Montgomery Ward unleashes a powerhouse. Electric Avenue, rapidly becoming the most competitive appliance electronic stores in America. Choose from Sony, RCA, Tappan, Amana, Pioneer, Magnavox, GE, and Maytag. Top-line brands at bottom-line prices. Electric Avenue appliances and electronics. We won't be undersold on our advertised national brands. Great prices, great name brands, plus service in 24 hours. Turn up your buying power on Electric Avenue at Montgomery Ward. It's a powerhouse.
Thank you. You know, snacking's a big part of that TV football season, so let's kick off that season with some cheese, glorious cheese. Here's how. You slice some fruit, eat it with cheese during a game. Breadsticks, eat them with cheese during a game, or eat cheese plain during a game. Halftime, go to the store, stock up on cheese, eat it during a game. Till next time, I'm the Hasty Gourmet. Bye-bye.
Cheese, glorious cheese.
The 88 Toyotas are at Wilkins Toyota, and $39 down delivers. That's right, at Wilkins Toyota, $39 down buys the exciting all-new 1988 Corolla for just $199 per month. A sporty Tercel, $39 down and $149 per month. Or a rugged pickup for just $159 per month. Camrys, 4Runners, Silicas, every Toyota is on sale at Wilkins Toyota, home of the $39 down deal. Dial Toyotas, Toyotas.
Welcome back to the Metrodome. We're standing by with a man who finally got to play tonight. You didn't get any action during the LCS. You got in the game tonight, something you'd been waiting to do for a long time, and you really responded.
Great feeling. I had been waiting a long time, 13 years as a matter of fact, to get an appearance in a World Series game, and that was a nice way to do it.
Roy Smalley, when you were sitting on the bench during the LCS and sitting on the bench during Game 1, what was going through your mind?
Well, just that I hope we win. It's a tough situation for me there because I am going to pinch hit in the event that we're tied or behind, and I mean, as much as I want to play, I don't really want to get in under those circumstances. So that was tough, and I just hope that we won and got to the World Series. Not that we're in the World Series. I'm just looking to contribute however I can.
Well, when you got the base hit, I was in the stands and I was watching your wife, and she seemed more pleased than you did. I noticed when you were on second, you glanced up in the stands, and I know that's who you were looking at.
Well, thanks for noticing. It's been just as tough, if not tougher, on her. She, grew up here, born and raised, and this is home for her, and now home for all of the Smalleys, and it was a big moment for Chrissy and me. It really was.
Before we let you go, I want to ask you, this has been an intimidating place for the Cardinals, obviously, during the first two games. The reverse of that, going back to Busch Stadium.
Well, I think you're going to see the reverse. Absolutely. The St. Louis people have been watching what's been going on under the big top here, and they're going to put 50-some thousand screaming Redbird fans in there, and the onus will be on us to see how we handle it. I think they have been, they're going to take it as a challenge issued, and I'm sure they'll respond, so we have our work cut out for us.
Roy Smalley, thanks for joining us. Maybe you showed Tom Kelly something tonight, and that man is standing by upstairs outside the Twins clubhouse with Joe Schmidt.
Big smile on his face with a 2-0 lead here in the World Series. And Tom, when you get 8 runs and 10 runs in 2 ball games, it makes it a little bit easier to be a manager, doesn't it?
Oh, that's for sure. And, getting those runs makes everything a lot easier. It makes the ball club relax a little bit, and the pitchers have a little breathing room. And everything's a lot nicer. And the guys are pitching good, and the players are rallying around the pitching, and the guys are throwing the ball well, and we're making the plays in the field, and we'll go up and swing the bat. So pitching's the name of the game. If you pitch good, things seem to fall in place for you.
You want to talk about a money pitcher? Bert Blyleven certainly fills the bill.
Yeah, he's a big horse for us. There's no question about it. He's the main man, and he's the captain, as the players call him, and he knows how to pitch these kind of games. And you can see it tonight. He got his fastball going, then got his curve working, and used his changeup and kept the ball down and strike zone. He pitched a real good ball game, just like Frankie did the day before.
Now you're back to Busch Stadium. Those fans are going to be ready for you, and so will the Cards.
Well, that's for sure. They're not going to roll over. We know that. So Lester Straker go out and do the best he can against them, and he throws over the plate and makes his pitches. and give us a chance to do something with the bat, so we'll be okay.
TK, thanks a lot and best of luck. All right, they move on down to St. Louis. Tomorrow they will practice at 3 o'clock in Busch Stadium. And then, of course, Game 3 is Tuesday. Let's now go back to Mark and Angela.
Thank you, Joe. The Metrodome, no doubt the site of a lot of national attention tonight.
Going nuts, but it's hard to believe, but there are some Minnesotans doing something other than watching tonight's game, tonight's Twins game, but I found them very few and far between.
Normally, there's a line to get into this Minneapolis Comedy Club, but tonight, only Twins fans were seen racing past to the Dome.
We can hold about 300. We've sold, oh, maybe about 20 for tonight.
The few who were here tried convincing us they were genuine Twins fans by waving napkins.
Are you a Twins fan?
Oh, yes. Yes, I am.
But you're not watching the game.
Well, that's true.
Two very good friends of mine from Chicago chose to come to town this weekend to visit me, and not being Twins fans, I didn't take them to the game.
And how do you feel about that? Go Cubs.
At Harmar Cinema, the 11 theaters here might have outnumbered the moviegoers.
It's real dull. There's no one here. Everyone's watching the game.
But ticket sellers donned in Twins caps kept anyone who cared about the game up to date. Uh-oh. Move over, Maytag repairman. I think we found someone lonelier than you. This St. Paul video movie renter.
Can you believe of the very few movies rented tonight, someone picked up this one, Baseball, the Pete Rose Way?
But with an empty store, even our movie renter found better things to do than watch the game.
Well, I'll catch up on my homework.
Got a test? You've got a test?
Dedicated student, yeah.
I wouldn't have done it.
I'm sorry, I've got to stick the weather in here. The weather really does not matter inside the dome. It's always about 70 degrees and just pleasant until you get all those bodies in there. But it did matter back in 1965, and I seem to remember some of this weather. It rained for Game 1 after the game was over, and that rain continued up till Game 2. When we had about 0.14 of an inch at the game time, the temperature was cooler than Game 1 as well, 61 degrees. For 5 first forecasts for tonight, we're definitely getting chilly outside. Some spots already down in the 30s. Partly cloudy skies. It will be cold. Overnight lows 28 to 32, getting down below freezing. West winds at about 5 to 15. By the time you wake up tomorrow morning, should be a partly cloudy but a very cold start. Chilly at 30 degrees, below freezing. Then we warm up slightly during the afternoon with mostly cloudy skies. A little bit of sun popping through. Kind of a mixture between clouds and sun. High temperatures tomorrow, 42 to 46, a west wind at 10 to 15. Right now outside, under a mostly clear sky, 41 for the temp, and some spots already down to the 30s. 30 degrees for the dew point, 65%. Relative humidity, a southwest wind at 6, and the barometric pressure is now steady at 30.10 inches. Tomorrow's weather maker is not going to be very exciting. Today's high temperature only up to 52. That is 7 shy of the average. 43 this morning's low, and no rainfall officially out at the airport. The next thing that falls from the sky won't be rain. It'll probably be snow. Tomorrow's weather maker is going to be snow out through the central Dakotas. Should remain very light, just a few flakes falling, but this area from up there in Canada is going to sag southward over Minnesota tomorrow. In the east, lots of sunshine for tomorrow. Temperatures pleasant, but on Tuesday, this front is going to bring showers up and down the east coast, and temperatures cooling down out there. A cooler day for tomorrow, 43 degrees right down here in the southern part of the state. For northern Minnesota, you folks up there, expect a cloudy day, some flurries starting to slip out of Canada. This is a Siberian screamer, 30s for highs. For the southern part of Minnesota, calls for partly cloudy skies, some sun mixed in, 40s. And for western Wisconsin, we're going to call for the same story, partly sunny and high temperatures much cooler than they should be for this time of the year, should be in the 40s. The outlook then for tomorrow afternoon calls for some sun mixed with clouds, high temperatures only in the 40s, lower 40s. For Tuesday, some rain and snow mixture, 30s for highs, and that continues. Cool weather, teens by Thursday morning. That could be a record cool morning.
Snow is actually coming our way. I mean, we can count down the days now.
You should, yeah.
Thanks, Dave. Coming up this Tuesday on the Eyewitness News Update, a look at how some children are being raised by their gay parents. Bob Bruce will introduce us to some families whose non-traditional lifestyle provides some special adjustments. How do kids cope living with parents of the same sex? Join us for a special assignment report on Tuesday at 10.
All right, now back to our special World Series coverage.
All the highlights, lots of player interviews, all the excitement of Game 2 next as we go back live to the Dome for Twins Fever 87.
It's the Subaru year-end clearance. The greatest Subaru deals in Subaru history. Stupendous Subaru savings.
Hold it! Instead of hype, Subaru gives you up to $1,500 factory cash back or 3.9 financing. Great deals, even on Subarus under $10,000. Up to $1,500 back or 3.9. With cars and deals that good, you don't have to shout. Subaru gives you up to $1,500 factory cash back or 3.9 financing.
Budget Power, the home improvement expert, brings you store-wide savings during the Sale-a-thon sale. For total relaxation, buy the best, the economical portable hot spring spa with the exclusive motor massage jets. Feel the warm, swirling water melt away tension and anxiety. Complete with thick thermal cover redwood skirt and all on sale. Value Core, Life Core, Magna Core. Our complete line of quality, energy-saving solid wood core storm doors from Larson are on sale. Many feature a lifetime warranty. Shop the Sale-a-thon sale at Budget Power, the home improvement expert.
Fuss with shampoo and conditioner? Who needs it? I want to wash my hair and go. And now I can with Pert Plus. Complete shampoo plus complete conditioner in one bottle. Pert Plus leaves my hair clean, conditioned, and looking terrific. Before, to get results this good, I used shampoo and conditioner. No more. Now, with Pert Plus, I just wash and go.
Pert Plus, shampoo plus complete conditioner in one.
Now at Wilkins Pontiac, make your best deal on any brand new 1987 Pontiac, and then Wilkins will make 6 monthly payments for you. It's better than 1.9% or rebates. It's no payments for 6 months. We're not extending payments or delaying them. We're making them for you. We've never done this before. Make your best deal on over 100 6000s, Firebirds, Bonnevilles, even Grand Ams, and Wilkins will make your first 6 payments for you at Wilkins Pontiac, St. Louis Park.
Channel 5, Minnesota's news channel, and the Minnesota Twins channel for the 1987 World Series.
And good evening once again from the Metrodome live as we continue Twins Fever 87.
Yes, our entire sports department is standing behind. Thanks, Dave.
Wilkins Toyota, home of the $39 down deal. Dial Toyota's T-O-Y-O-T-A-S.
Welcome back to the Metrodome. We're standing by with a man who finally got to play tonight. You didn't get any action during the LCS. You got in the game tonight, something you'd been waiting to do for a long time, and you really responded.
Great feeling. I had been waiting a long time, 13 years as a matter of fact, to get an appearance in a World Series game, and that was a nice way to do it.
Roy Smalley, when you were sitting on the bench during the LCS and sitting on the bench during Game 1, what was going through your mind?
Well, just that I hope we win. It's a tough situation for me there because I'm going to pinch hit in the event that we're tied or behind, and I mean, as much as I want to play, I don't really want to get in under those circumstances. So that was tough, and I just hope that we won and got to the World Series. Now that we're in the World Series, I'm just looking to contribute however I can.
Well, when you got the base hit, I was in the stands and I was watching your wife, and she seemed more pleased than you did. I noticed when you were on second, you glanced up in the stands, and I know that's who you were looking at.
Well, thanks for noticing. It's been just as tough, if not tougher, on her. She, grew up here, born and raised, and this is home for her, and now home for all of the Smalleys, and it was a big moment for Chrissy and me. It really was.
Before we let you go, I want to ask you, this has been an intimidating place for the Cardinals, obviously, during the first 2 games. The reverse of that, going back to Busch Stadium.
Well, I think you're going to see the reverse. Absolutely. The St. Louis people have been watching what's been going on under the big top here, and they're going to put 50-some thousand screaming Redbird fans in there, and the onus will be on us to see how we handle it. I think they have been. They're going to take it as a challenge issued, and I'm sure they'll respond. So we have our work cut out for us.
Roy Smalley, thanks for joining us. Maybe you showed Tom Kelly something tonight, and that man is standing by upstairs outside the Twins clubhouse with Joe Schmidt.
Big smile on his face with a 2-0 lead here in the World Series. And Tom, when you get 8 runs and 10 runs in 2 ball games, it makes it a little bit easier to be a manager, doesn't it?
Oh, that's for sure. And, you know, getting those runs makes everything a lot easier. It makes the ball club relax a little bit, and the pitchers have a little breathing room. And everything's a lot nicer. And the guys are pitching good, and the players are rallying around the pitching, and know the guys are throwing the ball well, and we're making the plays in the field, and we'll go up and swing the bat. So pitching's the name of the game. If you pitch good, things seem to fall in place for you.
You want to talk about a money pitcher? Bert Blyleven certainly fills the bill.
Yeah, he's a big horse for us. There's no question about it. He's the main man, and he's the captain, as the players call him, and he knows how to pitch these kind of games. And you can see it tonight. He got his fastball going, then got his curve working, and used his changeup and kept the ball down and strike zone. He pitched a real good ball game, just like Frankie did the day before.
Now you're back to Busch Stadium. Those fans are going to be ready for you, and so will the Cards.
Oh, that's for sure. They're not going to roll over. We know that. So Lester Straker go out and do the best he can against them, and he throws over the plate and makes his pitches and give us a chance to do something with the bat, so we'll be okay.
TK, thanks a lot and best of luck. All right, they move on down to St. Louis. Tomorrow they will practice at 3 o'clock in Busch Stadium, and then, of course, Game 3 is Tuesday. Let's now go back to Mark and Angela.
Thank you, Joe. The Metrodome, no doubt the site of a lot of national attention tonight.
Going nuts, but it's hard to believe, but there are some Minnesotans doing something other than watching tonight's Twins game, but I found them very few and far between.
Normally, there's a line to get into this Minneapolis Comedy Club, but tonight, only Twins fans were seen racing past to the Dome.
We can hold about 300. We've sold, oh, maybe about 20 for tonight.
The few who were here tried convincing us they were genuine Twins fans by waving napkins.
Are you a Twins fan?
Oh, yes. Yes, I am.
But you're not watching the game.
Well, that's true.
2 very good friends of mine from Chicago chose to come to town this weekend to visit me, and not being Twins fans, I didn't take them to the game.
And how do you feel about that? Go Cubs.
At Harmar Cinema, the 11 theaters here might have outnumbered the moviegoers.
It's real dull. There's no one here. Everyone's watching the game.
But ticket sellers donned in Twins caps kept anyone who cared about the game up to date. Uh-oh. Move over, Maytag repairman. I think we found someone lonelier than you. This St. Paul video movie renter.
Can you believe, of the very few movies rented tonight, someone picked up this one, Baseball, the Pete Rose Way?
But with an empty store, even our movie renter found better things to do than watch the game.
Well, I'll catch up on my homework.
Got a test? You've got a test?
Dedicated student, yeah.
I wouldn't have done. I'm sorry, I've got to stick the weather in here. The weather really does not matter inside the dome. It's always about 70 degrees and just pleasant until you get all those bodies in there. But it did matter back in 1965, and I seem to remember some of this weather. It rained for Game 1 after the game was over, and that rain continued up till Game 2. When we had about 0.14 of an inch at the game time, the temperature was cooler than Game 1 as well, 61 degrees. For 5 first forecasts for tonight, we're definitely getting chilly outside. Some spots already down in the 30s. Partly cloudy skies, it will be cold. Overnight lows 28 to 32, getting down below freezing. West winds at about 5 to 15. By the time you wake up tomorrow morning, should be a partly cloudy but a very cold start. Chilly at 30 degrees, below freezing. Then we warm up slightly during the afternoon with mostly cloudy skies, a little bit of sun popping through. Kind of a mixture between clouds and sun. High temperatures tomorrow, 42 to 46, a west wind at 10 to 15. Right now outside, under a mostly clear sky, 41 for the temp, and some spots already down to the 30s. 30 degrees for the dew point, 65%. Relative humidity, a southwest wind at 6, and the barometric pressure is now steady at 30.10 inches. Tomorrow's weather maker is not going to be very exciting. Today's high temperature only up to 52. That is 7 shy of the average. 43 this morning's low, and no rainfall officially out at the airport. The next thing that falls from the sky won't be rain. It'll probably be snow. Tomorrow's weather maker is going to be snow out through the central Dakotas. Should remain very light, just a few flakes falling, but this area from up there in Canada is going to sag southward over Minnesota tomorrow. In the east, lots of sunshine for tomorrow. Temperatures pleasant, but on Tuesday, this front is going to bring showers up and down the east coast, and temperatures cooling down out there. A cooler day for tomorrow, 43 degrees right down here in the southern part of the state. For northern Minnesota, you folks up there, expect a cloudy day, some flurries starting to slip out of Canada. This is a Siberian screamer, 30s for highs. For the southern part of Minnesota, calls for partly cloudy skies, some sun mixed in, 40s. And for western Wisconsin, we're going to call for the same story, partly sunny and high temperatures much cooler than they should be for this time of the year, should be in the 40s. The outlook then for tomorrow afternoon calls for some sun mixed with clouds, high temperatures only in the 40s, lower 40s. For Tuesday, some rain and snow mixture, 30s for highs, and that continues. Cool weather, teens by Thursday morning. That could be a record cool morning.
Snow is actually coming our way. I mean, we can count down the days now.
You should, yeah.
Thanks, Dave. Coming up this Tuesday on the Eyewitness News Update, a look at how some children are being raised by their gay parents. Bob Bruce will introduce us to some families whose non-traditional lifestyle provides some special adjustments. How do kids cope living with parents of the same sex? Join us for a special assignment report on Tuesday at 10.
All right, now back to our special World Series coverage.
All the highlights, lots of player interviews, all the excitement of Game 2 next as we go back live to the Dome for Twins Fever 87.
It's the Subaru year-end clearance. The greatest Subaru deals in Subaru history. Stupendous Subaru savings.
Hold it! Instead of hype, Subaru gives you up to $1,500 factory cash back or 3.9 financing. Great deals, even on Subarus under $10,000. Up to $1,500 back or 3.9. With cars and deals that good, you don't have to shout. Subaru gives you up to $1,500 factory cash back or 3.9 financing.
Budget Power, the home improvement expert, brings you store-wide savings during the Sale-a-thon sale. For total relaxation, buy the best, the economical portable hot spring spa with the exclusive motor massage jets. Feel the warm, swirling water melt away tension and anxiety. Complete with thick thermal cover redwood skirt and all on sale. Value Core, Life Core, Magna Core. Our complete line of quality, energy-saving solid wood core storm doors from Larson are on sale. Many feature a lifetime warranty. Shop the Sale-a-thon sale at Budget Power, the home improvement expert.
Fuss with shampoo and conditioner? Who needs it? I want to wash my hair and go. And now I can with Pert Plus. Complete shampoo plus complete conditioner in one bottle. Pert Plus leaves my hair clean, conditioned, and looking terrific. Before, to get results this good, I used shampoo and conditioner. No more. Now, with Pert Plus, I just wash and go.
Pert Plus, shampoo plus complete conditioner in one.
Now at Wilkins Pontiac, make your best deal on any brand new 1987 Pontiac, and then Wilkins will make 6 monthly payments for you. It's better than 1.9% or rebates. It's no payments for 6 months. We're not extending payments or delaying them. We're making them for you. We've never done this before. Make your best deal on over 100 6000s, Firebirds, Bonnevilles, even Grand Ams, and Wilkins will make your first 6 payments for you at Wilkins Pontiac, St. Louis Park.
Channel 5, Minnesota's news channel, and the Minnesota Twins channel for the 1987 World Series.
And good evening once again from the Metrodome live as we continue Twins Fever 87.
Yes, our entire sports department is standing behind us down in the Metrodome, so let's go right now to Rob Lear, who I think is with Jeff Reardon. Rob?
Right you are, Ruth, and Jeff, here you guys are, 2 games away from a world championship. Has this been maybe an easier chore than you might have anticipated it would be?
Yeah, I think it has. You know, our offense have really come through in the playoffs and World Series, and I didn't think we were going to have 2 games like this because I knew the Cardinals pretty good, but you know, it's a nice feeling. I hope we win the next 2 games, you know, 10-0.
You've played down there in St. Louis in that Busch Stadium. Everybody's been trying to make something of. What should this team expect down there?
Well, it is a big ballpark, and it's tough to hit a home run, but these guys on our team are so strong. I think, you know, the way they hit home runs, it's going to go out there, too. It's just you're not going to get any cheap home runs in that ballpark. It's one of the biggest ones in the National League.
Tonight, your first taste of World Series. We saw you finish up there in the 9th inning. Your thoughts as that last out was made?
No, it was exciting. It seems like every time I make the last out, the last couple games, it's to Herbeck, and you know, it was just a great feeling to get a chance to pitch in a World Series, and I was really pumped out. The crowd was just great, and I got a little carried away. I tried to rear back and throw the ball, and it was just very exciting.
Congratulations. Hope to talk to you later in St. Louis about what to expect there some more. And let's now call in Steve Lombardozzi, one of the offensive stars on this Twins team that's full of offensive stars. This has got to be a thrill for you.
Oh, it really is. It seems like, once again, seems like I'm repeating myself, but different guys have come through all year long. And again, tonight, Randy Bush
plays in his first game here and comes through with a key hit, and then Tim Laudner also comes through with 3 RBIs.
And you're one of the guys that said, hey, as long as we've come this far, let's win it. And you guys are setting the table for that.
Why not? Why not? It's been a heck of a season. It's been a heck of a season for the fans and for us too. We've enjoyed it to its fullest, so why not end it on a good note?
Perhaps these scores a bit different than you might have thought in terms of them being a little bit more lopsided?
Definitely. I don't think anyone would have expected the outcomes of the first 2 games here, but again, we've just played with such maturity and not gotten too high after both of these games. Again, a very subdued clubhouse tonight, already setting our sights on the next game.
Finally, can you go on the road relaxed this time with that 2-0 lead in this series?
I think so. I think both games already have been there's been a relaxed attitude around the clubhouse. We've come out here and known what to expect from the fans and have been able to adjust to it again.
Thanks, Steve. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Let's go back down to Mark Curtis.
Thanks very much, Rob. Here's the thing that intrigues me. Here's a bunch of guys who have never played in the World Series except for Blyleven, and they're coming in and playing like a bunch of veterans instead of rookies. The other thing is now with every game, with every passing game, Twins are getting more and more confident, and they could be a very dangerous team down the stretch. Let's take a look at the highlights tonight, as he's done so often in the postseason. Gary Gaetti got it started. Second inning, Gaetti rips a shot to deep left field. Into the seats for a home run. Twins had the lead and never trailed again. Now, what is it about the 4th inning? The Twins scored 7 in the 4th last night, 6 more tonight. Big hit here by Randy Bush with the bases loaded. Double off the right field fence. Kirby scores. Kent scores. It was 3-0 Twins. Again tonight, Tim Laudner came through with a key hit. 2 out, Laudner smashes a single to left. That scores Gaetti, and here comes Bush with the slide. It's close, but a great play by Randy. The hand was quicker than the throw. Bush is safe. It was 5-0. Still in the 4th. This time, it's last night's hero, Dan Gladden, with a sharp single to left. Another RBI for Gladden as Bernansky scores to make it 6-0. Greg Gagne knocked in another one in the 4th, and by the time the inning was over, the Redbirds were dead birds. 6th inning, Laudner spread a little icing on the cake with a blast to center, 420 feet. Bert Blyleven did his part, and it was another easy night. Blyleven had 8 strikeouts tonight, and once again, the Twins win the game 8-4 and head back to St. Louis with that 2-0 lead. All right, Mike Smithson, let's talk a little bit about Game 3 as we look at the matchup. Les Straker was not that effective in Detroit, to be honest with you. How much more confident can he be? How much more effective can he be now going back with the ease of these first 2 games?
Well, I'm sure he's going to be a little more at ease than he was in Detroit. And I think when he gets to St. Louis and he sees Busch Stadium and the big ballpark, it might even make him more at ease. And, you know, with a big 2-0 lead, the way the guys are swinging the bats, especially the bottom of the order, got to be real pleased.
You know, everyone has heard Tom Kelly say all year, 1 game at a time. But what they don't realize is these guys are very emotional. This is an emotional club. And with every win, we were just saying, they get tougher and tougher.
Well, I think you can throw the 1 game at a time stuff right out the window this time of the year. This is for all the marbles, and the guys, I think, can smell the roses right now. Like you said, once they get the ball rolling, once Gaetti got the base hit, it just seems like it snowballed, and everybody was hitting the ball hard.
All right, let's go upstairs right now to Rob Lear, who's standing by outside the Twins clubhouse. Rob?
Yes, the players continue to get dressed and continue to get ready and think about St. Louis, and that's where Les Straker will be in the spotlight because he'll pitch Game 3 of this series. And if you can get this many runs, it's going to make your job a whole lot easier, I imagine.
Yeah, I've been watching from Viola and Bob Blyleven how they was pitching. The key in this game is throw strike. And like this club, St. Louis, they are runners. And I hope I can go the same way like Burr and Blyleven did those two games. You know, if I do that, I think I'm gonna pitch a good game Tuesday night.
How about the playoffs when you pitched in Detroit? You were not happy with your performance there. Did you learn something?
I wasn't happy, you know, because I was disappointed about me because I wasn't throwing strike. I worked for guys. I was getting behind the hitter all the time. You know, that disappointment and the bug I commit, you know, that hurt me, you know, because my first year trying to do so good, you know, all year around. And now that thing happened to me in a playoff.
Good luck to you on Wednesday and the rest of your teammates as we turn ahead and turn our thoughts to Game 3. Les Straker. Mark?
Thanks a lot, Rob. You know, I want to ask you real quickly as we go into Game 3, and I'm going to put the manager's hat on your head. You're Whitey Herzog. Aside from the obvious to say, guys, we're going back to Busch Stadium, we're going back home now, What can you say to settle this club down? Because these have not been one-run ball games. These have been blowouts.
No, you're right, and I've noticed after we've taken a big lead, they sort of dropped their head a little bit. I don't know if I was Whitey Herzog, I don't know what I think. I'd have to just go back to St. Louis and just regroup and tell them just to go out and play for fun now. You know, you're down 2 games to none, but it's happened before. Just go out and play the game hard, and we'll see what happens.
All right. Right now, let's go back to Mark Stevens, who's standing by in the studio. Mark?
Well, is there other sports that matters tonight? If we're going to have another set of winners here in Minnesota, the real Vikings are going to have to give a little bit extra to make up for what the Subs did to their record. The strike is over, but unfortunately, the B team had to play today, and they made it 0 for 3 in Tampa. It was tied at 3 at the half, but in the third quarter, Vike punter Bucky Scribner didn't exactly put the foot to it. The thing just squirts away. The Bucks' Arthur Wells falls on it, 10-3 Tampa. Vikes tied it up, though. 37-year-old Tony Adams here, 23 yards to Jeff Womack. Game all tied at 10 apiece, but late in the third quarter, one of Adams' passes here gets away. Jackie Walker ends up with the football. No one touched him, so he can get up. He'll take it in 30 yards for the score. Tampa Bay wins it today 20-10, leaving the Vikings with a record of 2-3, and the regulars started the season with an impressive 2 triumphs. Elsewhere on the Pro Football Scoreboard today, there are no more undefeated teams in the NFL. Chicago loses their first to New Orleans. In overtime, Green Bay over Philadelphia. Seattle destroys Detroit. Atlanta by 4 over the Rams. Cleveland shuts out the Bengals. New England 21 and Houston 7. The Jets by 6 over Miami in overtime. Pittsburgh over Indianapolis. Also in overtime, the Giants lose their 5th straight. This one to Buffalo. The Super Bowl champs are winless. And Denver is a winner over Kansas City. San Diego 23. The Raiders 17. San Francisco was a winner over St. Louis, and the Monday Nighter will be in Dallas tomorrow, where the Redskins are in town to play the Cowboys. Yes, it's the World Series, and it's the place you should be. Thankfully, though, the time has also come to bid farewell to the Subs of NFL Weeks 3. But the question remains, who caused this faux pas? Was it the owners in Donnellan or the players in Upshaw? So the regulars did walk, and the replacements came in, and the fans were the losers because they didn't care who would win. There were bartenders and plumbers, carpenters and surgeons, but the caliber of their play had the smell of old sturgeon. With the names McIntosh, Blygen, and Mackey, you could tell their style would be somewhat tacky, but those Subs were all happy, and the fans should mourn for the rebirth of Hogaboom and old pros like Zorn. But those games became worse, and there is a big reason.
Going in for the touchdown. Carrying it in is Mark Stevens.
We say goodbye to those players who tried, and the fans are the losers, and the interest has died. And a question is raised from the strikes and the pickets. Is there any pro football left worth the price of a ticket? Ah, that was an ode to the Subs. We will try to forget them. Mark, back to you and some sports that really matters.
Mark, thanks very much. You know, we've got an interesting piece of tape. Mike Smithson is not our only analyst through this series. We also have Louis Anderson. He was up in the stands before the game with Mrs. Carl Pohlad.
7-5. I don't know. What about you?
Tonight, I'd say 8-4.
8-4. You heard it right here.
Is she clairvoyant or what? She predicted the 8-4 final. Mike, you played with John Tudor down in the minors in Pawtucket. What kind of a guy is he, and what should we look for as we head into Game 3?
Well, John's a fierce competitor. He's one of those type of pitchers. He's got a real good fastball, and he's got a good changeup, and he's got a good curveball. And he's not afraid to throw the ball inside, but he mainly lives on the outside part of the plate. I expect a low-scoring game when we go to St. Louis, and it's going to be one of those games. Fewest mistakes will probably win the game.
If you're John Tudor, what have you learned from these first 2 games watching guys like Gary Gaetti?
Well, I want to tell you what, the way these guys are swinging the bat, there's really no easy outs in our lineup, and I'm sure he's seeing that, and I'm sure he's going to have to just challenge the hitters. He can't fall behind in the count and walk anybody, because when they do that, we're going to score a lot of runs.
G-Man, we were talking about the emotion on this team. You guys are a very emotional team, and Mike, stay in here. As this series goes on, you guys become more and more dangerous because you believe more and more in yourselves.
Yep, that's exactly right. I just, when we're playing like this and we're playing emotionally high like we are, there's not a whole lot of teams that can beat us.
All right, here's your home run, and this is what got us started.
Oh, my goodness.
Nice poke.
Well, I'll tell you what he did. He threw me a good slider first pitch, and then he just left that one out over the plate. And, you know, I just put the bat on the ball.
Gary, seems like every game here in the last 3 or 4 games, once you get the big hit, the boys just start rolling, and once you get us rolling, you know what that means.
Well, you know how that goes. The way I look at that is if, you know, the guys are sitting on the bench and I get a hit, all right? If it's the first hit in the game, they figure, well, if he can get a hit, I know I can get a hit.
Now, I think you got to be really pleased, though, the way the whole lineup is hitting the ball, the bottom of the lineup and the top of the lineup. And when we do that and we get the big guys to plate, we're going to score a lot of runs.
Well, you know, from a pitcher standpoint of view, when you can't pitch around anybody in the lineup, I mean, and if you just lose your concentration for just a second on anybody, then you're going to be in big trouble. And you start pitching around people, and that's just a potential run on base, and then usually scores.
You know, I think that's the mark of a good World Series team. When you look back at the great teams that have won the series over the years, it seems like there are no weak spots in the lineup, and everybody sort of comes together at the same time.
Right. That's exactly what's happening. I mean, you never know when somebody's on this team is going to pop one out of the ballpark. Everybody is just clicking right now, and, you know, we're just probably playing better than I've ever seen this team play before. I mean,
is there a danger that you've won these first two games too easily?
No. I don't see why we would want to change anything. I know we're going to a strange ballpark, but in this situation, at this point in the season, and everything at stake, and the way the guys feel, you know, it's just, I don't see us getting down, you know, and that's going to be the only thing that we have to worry about, is if, you know, we don't feel like playing, and that's not going to happen.
A lot of folks back in Illinois, in the part of town where you grew up in, it's not far from St. Louis. I'm sure they're going to be watching you very closely.
Well, okay, you know, I'm looking forward to going back there. You know, it's something I always thought about doing, you know, playing in Busch Stadium, and, you know, World Series, you know, it's just something, it's just a dream. But, you know, I think it'll be a challenge, and I'm looking forward to it, and I hope to put on a good show for the people that do get to the ballpark.
All right, Gary, thanks for being with us. Right now, let's throw it back upstairs to Stan and Ruth.
Gary, you and the others have put on a great show. Great show already.
Perfect. Boy, Mrs. Pollard was certainly intuitive, wasn't she?
She has the tea leaves to watch this series. She was right on the money tonight. As we celebrate this World Series, as exciting as it is, this series is also generating a lot of contributions for some organizations that do some mighty good things, some very important things in our community. We're talking about the donations to charity being pledged per run by you viewers and by local businesses. You can contribute by calling 646-0705. And so far, and led by the 2,000 run pledges from KSTP TV, KS95 FM, and AM 1500. Those pledges total just under $77,000, $76,822. Way to go.
Yeah, that's great. Cancer research,
yes.
Food shelves, United Way, many charities getting that money tonight. Well, don't go away, because coming up, we're going to tell you about the city that feels rather left out after all of this national media coverage. Stay tuned.
Well, they obviously don't know what a twin is. I mean, you have to have two to have a twin, so we have to have the St. Paul, Minneapolis twins.
So you think you've heard everything. How about Bush and Stevenson?
Unforgivable.
BS in the morning on WDGY.
Come on and feel the heartbeat. Thunder is the heartbeat.
88 S10 4x4. The all-new 88 full-size 4x4. There, Chevy Thunder. Priced right. Built tight. Fog lights, light bar, grill guard, special striping. 4x4 Thunder from $199 a month. Only at your Twin Cities area Chevy team.
Come on and feel the heartbeat. Thunder is the heartbeat.
Tonight's my night to cook. So I just whipped up a few quick, delicious dishes with minute rice. First, we'll start with minute rice garden medley, then we'll move on to minute rice Chinese chicken, followed by minute rice seafood cacciatore. But I'm sure even such a superb supper will simply not suffice. So then we'll sample a little minute rice sweet and sour chicken, seafood salad, stroganoff, and then I also plan plain with a pat of butter and a side dish with a variety of
fast, versatile minute rice.
You can always have the minute rice Florentine. That's not to mention that we get the creamy almond and minute rice and broccoli with 2 cheeses. Make that 3 cheeses.
Minute rice.
Don't go!
A million ways to serve, 5 minutes to fix.
Unhappy with the way some frozen dinners cook in the microwave?
I do my best.
Well, Armour Dinner Classics is made for the microwave.
Ooh, I love it already.
Armour Dinner Classics uses recipes specifically for microwave cooking. And every portion is individually prepared, so everything is ready at the same time.
Mmm, that looks delicious.
Armour Dinner Classics, specially made to taste great out of your microwave.
Now you're cooking.
There it is, a beautiful sight from outside tonight, and a sight America is becoming quite familiar with.
And this is live inside the Metrodome, where perhaps the last baseball game of this year has been played tonight. That is, if the Twins go on to clinch in St. Louis. And of course, If not, the next weekend, we'll be right back here for Game 6. And then Game 7, if necessary, all televised right here on Channel 5.
What do you think's going to happen?
I think that they are going to win the next game, lose the 4th game, win the 5th game, and come home here victorious.
Okay, all right.
That's my intuition. We'll see if it works.
Tiny Tim always says we must not boast, though, right?
Yes,
Can't get too confident.
That's true.
Well, now Game 3 will be Tuesday night from Busch Stadium in St. Louis, of course. A big part of our staff is getting up bright and early this coming morning. We're going to be flying by charter down to St. Louis. And our first reports will be coming to you tomorrow afternoon, late tomorrow afternoon, of course, on Eyewitness News live at 5. Then on Tuesday, game day, we build up to Game 3 beginning at 5 as Ruth and I anchor from Busch Stadium. Then the pace accelerates on Eyewitness News at 6, followed immediately by Twins Fever 87. Then at 7 Tuesday night, game number 3 of this World Series, live right here on Channel 5, followed by special post-game coverage on the Eyewitness News update right after the game.
Finally tonight, because of the national media spotlight shining on the Twin Cities, you know, Minneapolis is getting mentioned a lot more than St. Paul. And St. Paul residents say, hey, so what? The Metrodome's in Minneapolis, but we want some equal airtime, guys.
The Twins belong to all of us, all of Minnesota and beyond Minnesota right now. A few of the newscasters ought to shape up and learn that there are Twin Cities.
Come visit St. Paul, I guess. It's here.
Yeah, a few of the newscasters ought to shape up.
National guys, yeah.
Of course, we can't forget all of the thousands and thousands of fans from all the hundreds and hundreds of cities in Minnesota. And you know, tonight here at the Metrodome, hanging on one of the walls here, I saw a sign that said, North Dakota loves the Twins.
The Dakotas, Iowa, Wisconsin, who knows how far it
from
was.
all over the place.
I'll tell you.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and thank you, Minnesota, for 2 wonderful World Series games. What fan support?
Really, you know, you can feel it. Minnesota and Minnesotans, we think, are really impressing these United States. They're getting a good look at us, and they have to be favorably impressed. So congratulations to all of you. You're doing great. Until tomorrow, when we come to you live from St. Louis, yep, we're going downriver to Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Good night, everybody, and we'll see you from St. Louis. Bye.
Now at Wilkins Pontiac, make your best deal on any brand new 1987 Pontiac, and then Wilkins will make 6 monthly payments for you. It's better than 1.9% or rebates. It's no payments for 6 months. We're not extending payments or delaying them. We're making them for you. We've never done this before. Make your best deal on over 106,000 Firebirds, Bonnevilles, even Grand Ams, and Wilkins will make your first 6 payments for you at Wilkins Pontiac, St. Louis Park.
Come on, aren't you curious? You heard about all the fun your friends are having. How about Dave? He met that great girl by trying it. That's it. Just don't sit there thinking about calling. Call 1-976-5555. Get in on all the fun. Meet new friends or just listen in. Call 1-976-5555. So, what are you waiting for? Call right now, 1-976-5555. 59 cents per minute, brought to you by U.S. Telecom.
Is there a party going on over there?
James Cagney stars as a ruthless gangster in White Heat, tonight's cinema classic feature.